This is 365-801, and this is another buddy reading vlog with Katie. So we are going to be doing Spiritual Police, because it's only 2 volumes, unfortunately. And it's also like the kind of sequel to Otodama, which was also incomplete, unfortunately. So we read Otodama earlier in the year, and one of the characters, this one here, appears in that story. His brother is one of the main characters in that story as well. So he got his own spin-off, but I don't think it's complete. Certainly isn't complete in terms of Sublime's one, because I don't think we'll get the full story, which is a shame because the same thing happened with Otodama. So we're going into it fully aware. But as you can see, they both have their plastic still on because I have not read them. I've not ever even bothered. Even though it was on my list last year, like, hey, try and read this one. And I didn't get around to it at all. So we're going to try and do this. It's only 2 volumes, so it shouldn't take me too long. But I am kind of busy. I've got work and I've got a video that I need to edit. So we'll see how much I can get done. So I think this one, obviously, Spiritual Police, Youka Nitta, it's about someone who is someone, I think has he got some sort of disability? Blind, yes, he is a blind masseuse. I thought that. So yeah, and a policeman, or at least he was a policeman in the last story. So I'm guessing it is because he's police, but also in the last one, Otodama, there was that sort of a supernatural element as well. So hopefully that'll be quite interesting too. I've got some very unappetizing ham slice on toast. It's very boring and bland for my... I would say it's breakfast, but it's more like brunch, lunch, and a cup of coffee. And while I was chatting, a parcel got pushed through the letterbox, which is good. The last parcel I got, unfortunately, had books missing because it had been damaged in transit. So I did get my refund, but I was a bit disappointed that I didn't get the books because they were good prices. So yeah, I know what this one is already, so I don't need to open it just now, but we can open it later. But yeah, this is what we're going to be reading. I don't know how much I'm going to get done. Like I said, today it's going to be pretty busy, so and I do have to go and get ready for work and stuff like that, so we'll see. But I am going to eat this now because I'm starving. So it's another day. I am not feeling terribly good, but I feel like I've accomplished something because I've made myself some dinner, which looks quite nice. It's like a mushroom stroganoff. I've got basmati and wild rice, and then like mushroom and bacon and onion and cheese sauce. And then I got some herbs from my garden, which is pretty cool to go out and get some herbs. I also have chicken nuggets because I put them on before I decided what I was going to have to eat. And if I don't eat them, I can always just snack on them later. Because I have not actually eaten anything yet today. Today's not been a good day. I went to work last night, came home. I hadn't really eaten very much, so I made myself some chicken noodle soup. And then I started having a really bad headache, which is something I've had a few of in the last few days. So I just took some paracetamol and ibuprofen and went to bed. And then I woke up about, I don't know, 12 times. So I didn't get very much sleep and I'm feeling very tired. So I just lazed about in bed for most of the day, not doing anything, not even opening my eyes. So yeah, this is the first strenuous exercise I've had today, which was getting up and making myself some dinner. And it does look great, so I'm going to enjoy it. But yeah, we'll see how much reading I get done. Not terribly much. I feel like as soon as I have this, I'm probably going to end up crawling back into bed because I'm still not feeling 100% alive. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't know. My stomach hurts, but it also is hungry, and I don't know which one I should listen to more. Well, I listen to the hunger because I've obviously made something. It's going to be delicious, but I wonder how much I'm going to get eaten of it. So, good morning. I am feeling a little bit better, but now I have actually read some. I took the plastic off both of these, so I have read a little bit. I'm going to work So I have just a little bit of time. I have a lovely Danish for breakfast and some coffee, and yeah, I've got some new milk, some new protein Alpro milk. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a go and see what I think. But yeah, Spiritual Police Volume 1 I have started. I don't know, I can't remember how far I got into it though. I did read a little bit of it last night. What was really funny was, well, funny, haha. When I opened it up, that like this is November 2013. This is over 10 years old. This volume is 10 years old. And it just reminded me, like, yeah, Sublime have been doing this a long time. They've been doing it for a while now. And this was probably one of the first ones. But it is interesting, yeah. This is from 2012 and then published 2013. So it is kind of an old one, considering I haven't read it the whole time I've had it. So yeah, how far did I get? So we have, so far I'm like, is this the same character? Because, I mean, he's in the police and he looks the same, it's the same character design, but he doesn't seem like the same character. So I'm a little bit confused. Anyway, some lovely images. And then this thing at the start, which now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, how is this connected? I don't know who this is. But yeah, so we're following this character who's the brother, Nagatsuma. Yeah, so he's like the detective guy, but I think, like, is this in the past? It doesn't seem like it's of the same time period, because he seems like a young cop in this. So maybe this is like a story from his past, but we don't know this. But I'm assuming this must be, or it's alternate universe with the same character kind of thing, which, you know, has been done before. Love is an Illusion is exactly that. People forget that Love is an Illusion is an AU of Fargo's original characters anyway. OCs from another story just had an AU that they could be happy in. I don't know. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, so Nagatsuma goes to get some sort of health thing, like a massage or something like that. Some sort of thing from this guy, Aoi, who also might have spiritual powers. And then, but there's like ominous, is being photographed here. And then he touches him. This is like the second time he's met this guy. He touches him and then he warns him about birds. And then he almost gets hit by a falling plant. But his partner, Sakaki, who introduced him to the masseuse, it's like an exclusive masseuse. Only exclusive people go. And I was like, that Sakaki guy doesn't look that exclusive. But yeah, so he's been, this first, just the first chapter. He goes back and he feels guilty about it. So he goes to confront him. He's like, you know, I didn't get hurt. He got hurt. Oh. And he breaks down and he's crying. And I was like, Jesus Christ, get a hold of yourself, man. And then he confesses to him, Aoi. I was like, none of this dialogue makes any sense. I'm confused. I am confusion. What is going on? And then they end it and he's like, oh, well, you know, I'll need to have a shower. And then we have another ominousness. It's just full of ominousness. I'm not sure if this is a mystery so much as it's like a thriller. Which is good to know, because I think we should have more of the secondary genre. Like, I need to know these things. I like to classify. Like, I like to have a pile of books that are like, oh, if I want to have a BL, but I want to read a you know, like a courtroom or lawyerly or drama type one. This is the type of story you'd read. You know, like a pile of recs that are in that secondary genre. Anyway, so they get it on and they bang. And this is like the third time he's seen this man. The third time. I'm not joking. Like, what? And they have sex. And then they go about their daily business. It's not doing very well, one-handed. And they have like a wee date. which is cute, but also it's like, what? And then he goes over to Sakaki's house because he's now been released from the hospital. And this was the bit where I just laughed out loud. It was hilarious. So Sakaki is checking out his ass as he's helping tidy up and clean his apartment. And he's like blatantly just staring at his ass. And in the next line, it ended with, mind if I put a load in? Like, no, stop, that was on purpose. I mean, I know he's talking about laundry, but it was the juxtaposition of him staring at his ass. I'm a 12-year-old boy, why is that so funny? Oh, so yeah, Sakaki's like, maybe I find him attractive, but it was all in his mind. And then they meet this other guy who is investigating Aoi and is now like, hey, check it out. I saw you went on a date. So yeah, it's heating up. This there's like other shenanigans going on. But I'm suspicious of everyone. I think everyone is wrong. And no one makes sense. And even Nagatsuma, he doesn't make sense for the character that we met in Otodama. He's not the same character. Like, he might have the same character design, but he's not the same character. So I'm wondering if this all ends badly, or the plan was it for it to all end badly, and him to be jaded. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. Anyway, I've got to around this point. Chapter 3 is right here. So yeah, I got to this point. More ominous camera. He's blind, by the way. Did I mention that? I did, didn't I? I did mention it. So yeah, he doesn't. I'm assuming, does he know? Or maybe that's there like a health and safety measure. Like, but I don't know. If you were blind, would you want someone spying on you? I don't think so. So yeah, everyone is suspicious. Everyone is suspicious, except for Nagatsuma, who seems to be completely clueless, which is very against the character he was in Otodama. Anyway, this is how far I've got. I'm going to eat my lovely Danish, have my coffee, go to work, and I will come back and hopefully have a good day and finish off reading this volume. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay, so it's a bit later on. I have been at work. I came home the scenic route through the park. Had a lovely walk home. Got home and had some salad and a wee glass of something. It was like a wee G&T. It was very nice. And then watched a bit of the Grand Prix, which was just the qualifying. So had a nice day, and I have now finished Spiritual Police Volume 1. So I feel like I'm back on track. I always feel like I'm so slow on doing this, and then I check in with Katie and be like, oh, maybe. So I'm assuming that we're going to be fine now. I have finished Volume 1, and I think this is a wild ride. I can't help it. Cannot help it. So everything seemed really quick and fast with the two of them. Then we had this hilarious moment. Then we had this bad guy who was blackmailing him into setting bugs on the blind masseuse guy who can see the future or read people or something. And he gets all upset because he's getting blackmailed, and he knows he's going to get blackmailed further, so he ends it over the phone. The guy's really angry, and of course he assaults him. And while he's assaulting him, he's trying to get in touch with him, and of course steps out into the road, but then gets captured. And yeah, see this woman? I didn't trust her. I was like, everyone is a wrong'un. Did not trust her. And yeah, he's getting assaulted, which isn't great. It's not the best chapter 3. But he's like, he blames himself, of course, for wanting to like sully himself. He wanted to make it so that but it's so overly dramatic and too emotional. I love this when was it? When he said, it was hilarious. Well, it wasn't hilarious, but it made me laugh. Well, I hate this. He's talking about men in terms of being a woman. This is such a shitty thing to have in BL. That's a shitty thing to have in BL. I hate that when you refer to men as being women because either they're emotional or they're in love or they're in a relation, you know, whatever, anything that is deemed to be feminine is used as an insult, even in BL. I mean, I know he's supposed to be a toxic character, but I also feel like, is that a sign of the toxic character? Yes. But is it also a sign of the toxicity within BL? And I think maybe yes too. And I think both things can be true at the same time. What do you think? But yeah, so when he it's even bolded. Sheesh, do you have to be so melodramatic? I can't believe a rapist just said sheesh. Anyway. So yeah. The translation. But it does seem overly melodramatic, and sometimes that's okay because it does remove you from the reality of this. You know, if this was a real situation, or even within the story as well, it kind of separates you from the story because it seems so over the top and ridiculous that you then accept the horror of what is taking place, or what is about to take place, or the situation that they're all in, as absurd, and therefore it doesn't touch you emotionally. It doesn't affect you emotionally. And I feel like that's what Youka Nitta sometimes does. Sometimes her stuff is really emotionally affecting, and sometimes it's so melodramatic that I am reminded in the moment that it is a manga, that it's just a story, and that it's ridiculous. The ridiculousness of it removes me from any hurt or pain or real true empathy. I can feel sorry for the character and I can feel bad about what's going on, and I'm wondering what's going to happen next, but it doesn't mean that I'm emotionally affected because I'm looking at it going, well, this was just a plot point. And when you just see it as a plot point, and you know it's a plot point, it removes you from it emotionally. Yeah, that's my point. I wonder what everyone else thinks, if you've read Spiritual Police. So yeah, this was not nice. And then he wakes up locked in a cage. And I feel like this guy is giving mid-1990s, even now, to be fair. I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much, but like, cults are a big thing in Japan. Like, I don't mean to laugh because it's kind of serious, but but cults are a big thing in Japan. Religious cults are huge. The number of people that knocked on my door to try and get me to join some sort of religious cult was ridiculous. More people asked me, you know, if I'd welcomed Jesus, our Lord and Savior, into my life in Japan than had ever asked me that in the UK. And the UK is supposed to be a Christian country. We're not. We're decidedly not Christian now. The majority of the people in the UK are not, or do not consider themselves to be practicing Christians. They still consider the UK to be a Christian country, yet most people are like, nah, church, nah. Whereas in Japan, there are so many cults, and it's more like an MLM, which is funny considering this is a BL I'm talking about, but not MLM as in male loving male, the MLM as in like a pyramid or Ponzi scheme type thing, or multi-level marketing. It's about extracting money from people, which reminds me again of Night Beyond the Tri-Cornered Window. Things are reminding me of that a lot. I haven't watched the anime. I really need to. Maybe I should do that for my 801 readathon. Anyway, so he reminds me, this guy, of, you know, that kind of shady, quasi-religious organization. So yeah, this is how it ended. See, she was a wrong'un. Everyone was a wrong'un. And then yeah, it just ended. That was the end of volume 1. So I could read this volume straight away, but I feel like that's a lot of crazy for one day. So I might read a bit of it before I go to work tomorrow, but it's a bit thicker as well. And look how yellow, it's got a little bit of yellow, even though they were both wrapped in plastic. The difference, there's a little bit of a difference, you see? And this one was a lot later on, actually. April 2017. So 4 years later. And it's 2014. It says first published in Japan 2012, so same year. But the Youka Nitta rights reserved is 2014. And then this is a 2017. So it took quite a while to get published. And I remember something at the time of like them having to redo some things with the rights and stuff. So I think there must have been some issues with who was publishing it. So this one, it does say Shinshokan. Was this one Shinshokan as well? Let's just check. I am thoroughly entertained by the ins and outs of things like that. Yep, also Shinshokan. But yeah, a little bit different. I mean, when it's things like that, so that says Youka Nitta 2012, but first published in 2012, which is different from 2014. So I think maybe there was some issues because, as we know, this is on hiatus. This is a hiatus one. Don't think we'll ever get it. Don't think we'll ever get it complete. So it is what it is. A little bit of white there. But yeah. So I'll give this a wee read. You can tell it's never been read. I haven't even opened it up. Look at that. Gorgeous. So we'll see how this goes. While I was coming home, though, I did pop into the library and I picked up In Memoriam by Alice Wynne because I might just be doing I might just do books that I think are going to make me cry vlog for the rest of the year. And just do like a book, like one a month or something like that. Because I have a whole stack of books that I don't want to read because I'm convinced they're going to make me cry. But then they're like lauded and everyone says how great it is. And like loads of people have said this is their favourite book this year. I saw this come out, was it last year? And it was like the biggest, it was like one of the biggest ones that everyone was going on about. Yeah, 2023. And so many people were just in love with this book. And we're like, oh my god, I cried so much. Oh. And I like you know, it's like, okay, I guess this is what's gonna happen. So yeah, I've got this from the library. So I might read this. I know I shouldn't, I've got a whole stack of books that are gonna make me cry that I don't need to get out of the library, but I did see this now being just added to the library, so I was thinking, give it a wee read at some point. And slowly make my way through. So like maybe one a month so that I don't break my heart and then fall into a pit of depression. Because honestly, that could happen because I'm so emotional. I'm so sensitive. It has happened before when I've been so emotionally affected by something. I'm like, oh, and then that's me in my bed for the next week because I'm so woe is me, woe is the world. So yeah, this Song of Achilles have not read. There's quite a few actually I haven't read that I know are gonna make me cry. So this is one though. So yeah, I'm happy and excited to have it. I do want to read it. I just don't want it to break my heart. But yeah, this is gonna get read. I'll probably make a start on it, but I don't want to read too much of it. And then I've got work tomorrow as well. So I have some flowers here. I bought these ones a few days ago and then I just left them in my kitchen. They're going to just go bad if I don't actually deal with them. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm telling on myself, but this sometimes happens. It happens quite a lot. That I'll buy flowers reduced, you know, at the end of the day and it's like £1 something. And I'm like, oh, they'll be so pretty. And then I forget about them in the kitchen. They're just sitting there, and they in some water, mostly in some water, but occasionally without. And yeah, they just go bad and rotten, and then I have to chuck them out, and I feel like what a waste of money. And yeah, pretty bad. Anyway, so these ones I kind of forgot about because I was on my way and I saw these, and they were reduced as well. How much were they? They were a bit more expensive because this is like a fancy bunch. It was supposed to be £10. I got it for £3.70, and they smell amazing. Oh, so lovely and fresh, so cute with all the pastels, like romantic, you know. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut these up. I've got my secateurs and all that, so I'm gonna get these all looking lovely. Seeing as I just came back from work, and I've got this, and I've got a Grand Prix to watch later on, or at least the highlights. So here's my two bouquets. The yellow one actually ended up having a lot more flowers that are fine, and the more romantic one looked really good as a bouquet, but then when you kind of undid it all, there was a lot of flowers that looked damaged and didn't look very good actually. So I'm glad I didn't spend £10 on it. I think £3 was a good price. So I've kind of left them quite long for the roses because I feel like this bouquet needs a bit more air around it. So yeah, hopefully you can see it's much better. The other thing I have is a new tablecloth. I've been waiting ages to get another circular tablecloth that is also durable. So I'm gonna maybe put that on my table and see if this looks better than this scabby old one. So there it is. I think it does look better. It's brighter anyway. It makes the room brighter too, that's why I wanted a cream coloured one or something like that. But I don't know, maybe it'll be a bit, but the pattern might be a bit much after a while. That's why I wanted a plain one. But this one's fine for just now. New and clean, which is good. If in doubt, just get a new thing. So yeah, I have now read a bit more of Spiritual Police. I am really hungry though, and so I'll just talk about what I've read so far in this one. Right, yeah, so this, I feel like, it's quite nice, but I feel like there should have been a point. Did I read the first? So yeah, that happened. Him and Sakaki, Sakaki ended up getting it on. He's still in the jail, and then this Saiki, who's like somehow related to Aoi. Aoi is just stuck in this like prison, and he's trying to manipulate it. Apparently he wants to like bring down this family at this point, and they're getting it on. He's just having sex with anyone, really. I'm going to talk about it. Anyway, so he's like, I saw a part of him in you. So he's, you know. So this is it. This is the point. So he goes to the public affairs, internal affairs. This one, and Oribe, the guy who sexually assaulted him, previously has disappeared, and and then they've apparently got a letter of resignation from him. Who knows if that's true? I don't know. We don't know. And then he was like, oh hey, by the way, this is what happened, and also my phone's gone missing. And then it said, but the cell phone I lost that day would later resurface in a place I least expected. And I think that would have been a really great place to end volume 1. I think that would have been the time to end volume 1, so that people were like, ooh, and then start volume 2 with the same panel, but with these images next to it. And because these are from Otodama, but of course we don't know what happened in the end of Otodama, but we obviously know from what I read on what happened to him. So I don't want to spoil the spoiler free Otodama because we don't know what happened, but we kind of do now, but not really, because we don't know what happened to the main characters in Otodama. We just know what happened to him. And it's not good, guys. It's not good. So I think this would have been the appropriate time to start volume 2, really. Yeah. So he is now kind of an aide to, is it like a director or something? Director's meeting, Director Amagi. So yeah, he's the director of some, like, probably, you know, civil servants and stuff. So he's been demoted and sidetracked from his fancy high up detective position that he was in during Otodama. So Spiritual Police Volume 1 and this first part of Volume 2 is a prequel to Otodama Volumes 1, 2, and in Japanese, I guess, 3. And then this is the point when the story picks up again after Otodama. So this point here is a sequel to Otodama. So you could read this and part of this up to this page. I don't know which page it is. Does it tell us? No, it does not. And then read Otodama, and then you'd have like more of his story in chronological order. If you wanted, that's not how Youka Nitta's done it. But it kind of felt like, oh, okay, so this is why he, up to this point, and what happened here, you're like, oh, this is why he's the way he is in Otodama. It makes more sense because he wasn't like this at all in Spiritual Police Volume 1. It was like a completely different character. And then you're like, oh, okay, all this stuff happens, and that's what he does to himself, and what happens with the other characters. Yeah. And this is why he is the way he is in that story. And then you pick up here. And it's not great, guys. He's like being coercively fucked by his boss because of his demotion. And yeah, it's not great. It's not great. And then he ends up getting told by his boss that he's going to have to head up a new secret detective department that is also going to either utilize, prove or disprove the usefulness of, or accuracy, or verify the supernatural. So what happened in Otodama for him, I don't know, because we don't know Volume 3, he's still not willing to acknowledge it in some respects, unless it's to do with Aoi and Aoi's abilities. So he's like the worst person to be given this job, and also it's kind of like a kind of slap in the face for him. So yeah, it's not great. So he has to do this. So I can see this as being like, oh, this is a cool like start of a detective story, you know, and you could have like episodes like Otodama, a bit like that, and then have them all be connected and culminate. And I could see this being a really great story because I really enjoyed it. And so at this point we do start looking at a case. So they get given a case. They all get to meet. But he ends up meeting Saiki, who's the one who's going to be the like esper. I actually read quite a bit of this. Where did I get to? Yeah, this guy. And then they're going to look at a cold case. Well, a bit of a cold case. And Saiki looks just like Aoi. He mentions him as being his stepfather. Or his adoptive father. Something like that. Yeah. And so a lot of the guys in this are the same guys who were in this first volume. So that's interesting. So yeah, I'm around here. I think he just rattled. He just literally and figuratively rattled them. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next. But yeah, they're going to investigate a case. So I could see this being something that Youka Nitta could have had long running, because a lot of her series are long running. But yeah, I got about half a volume to go. This is longer, this volume, which is why I was like, that first bit could have been with this volume, and it would have been more like prequel, sequel. I think that would have been easier for people to get. But yeah, I am hungry. And I've still got another bit, like there's still a while before the highlights for the Grand Prix on, but my brother's already been like, it's a great one. He's such a tease, because he watches it live. But I was at work and stuff, so meh. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go make something to eat, I think. Okay, so I had about 20 minutes or so for this, it's like a fish cake, but it's like a cat's curry cod fish cake, and I had some, I don't have a lot of salad, so I put in some spring onion and I've got some coleslaw, so that's going to be a wee dinner before the Grand Prix, which will be on soon. And during that time I did, I'm going to move this out there, I did finish Spiritual Police. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what to think about it. Well, it's incomplete. It is unfinished, even though it does end with to be continued. And Nagatsuma is a very different, I don't know, like maybe like he wasn't the main character in Otodama, so we only saw certain sides of him. And even the sides we did see, they were kind of melodramatic. And I feel like that's he's definitely like that in this one. But he definitely feels more himself the second half after he starts leading this super shady secret spiritual police like division, and you know, cracking cases. And so they do have a case and they crack the case, and he cracks it with good old-fashioned police work, with just like a hint of help from Saiki, who it's clear has some complex feelings towards him. Sakaki also has feelings towards him as well. But yeah, so this is what I would expect the start of a series to be, because they have a case and they solve it. It's very much, I would assume, like if you liked Associate Professor Akira Takatsuki, it's like that. For me, that's what it feels like, because he is there to try and see if something has a supernatural kind of bent to this problem, and it turns out that it's a human thing. So yeah, I could see that that's what Spiritual Police would have become if Youka Nitta had been able to continue this series. And I know that's on indefinite hiatus. I think it's interesting though, because when you look at the dates, that it was published in 2017 versus, what was it, 2013? So that's 4 years of a difference in the fact that it says first published in 2012, but her rights are 2014, which leads me to believe that, like, there must have been something. There must have been some sort of, like, maybe the thing she was publishing it through, you know, the monthly manga, maybe that went under and it didn't get migrated to a different one. Because that happens all the time, or at least it certainly did. And during that time period as well, when the publishing industry around the world was kind of in fluctuation. So maybe this is just one of those works that suffered because of it. I feel bad because I really enjoyed Otodama and we didn't get it all, which is kind of the fault of Doki Doki, because the third volume did come out, but I just don't know when it came out in Japan. That's the thing, like, if there was a big gap at that point, it might have been that Doki Doki weren't publishing at that point, so they published the first two and then had to wait. I don't know what the publishing history story of these two works are, because it's a bit disappointing that we have these two unfinished and yet connected stories. So yeah, boo. Because I really do enjoy, I've come to the realization from reading things this year especially, I really do enjoy male romance with detective stories and mysteries. I really enjoy them. So I think that's why I also like Julia Richard and Akira Takatsuki. I like those things. They have other elements that I enjoy as well, but I do enjoy like a police procedural. I do enjoy things that have a little bit of some sort of supernatural, spiritual, that kind of thing, paranormal. I enjoy that as well. So yeah, it scratches an itch, but it's not complete. And I feel like this could have been something that just kept on going for several more volumes. And obviously there's a big story because the second half of this, Aoi was just not in it. Just not in it at all. So we never get any conclusion to that, which is a real shame. And this is obviously Saiki. So I don't know if that was what was intended. Like there was supposed to be this, like maybe it was supposed to be a threesome or something. I don't know. Or a love triangle, or, well, I don't know. Well, with how many... That's one other thing. Okay, so Nagatsuma, he does end up having sex with a lot of people. So if that's not your jam, because I know some people only like it when the two characters have sex with each other and then that's it in a story. And they never like to see it. And they see it kind of like cheating or emotional cheating, or they just don't like to see someone... in a relationship or not in a relationship or eventually having a relationship. Some people just don't like it when they have someone who is either promiscuous, or in this case he was also sexually assaulted and coerced. It's just wrong on levels. So many levels. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So Spiritual Police, I mean it's Youka Nitta, so it's gonna be interesting and enjoyable, but it is very melodramatic. It has her level of melodrama that I just think we can't get away from, but it still has that absolute competency with the drawings and the storytelling, and you can just tell it's well made, well drawn, and the story chugs along brilliantly, and that there's going to be layers and there's going to be reveals. You know there's going to be twists later on, and we're just not going to get them, unfortunately. No one is, because it's even in Japan they're not getting. So yeah, unfortunately, this was good and I enjoyed it. It was complex, and I like Nagatsuma as a complex character, but I don't really know how I feel about him as like he's not exactly the most likable character. I didn't like him so much in Otodama. I don't really think I like him in this either, but I feel like the story's interesting, and yeah, I don't think I dislike an unlikable detective. If he's an unlikable character in other, situations, I'm not really there for it. But as a detective, the grumpy detective, I like. I've just watched another great British ITV drama. It's just, I've watched so many of them that the sort of surly detective is just something that I like. So he's definitely surlier in the second half of this volume. I do maintain that this first part should have been in with this volume, and it should have been a prequel and then the sequel, and then it would have made more sense to everyone. So yeah. Anyway, that's me. End of this very short, probably kind of boring vlog. I don't think I did anything. Did I do anything? I didn't do anything. I'm so sorry. But I've got a lovely dinner I'm going to eat, and I'm going to watch some Grand Prix. So yeah, I'm going to sit on my feelings for a bit and then edit this. And I've got lots of other videos of editing. So yeah, I'm going to sit with my feelings for a while on Spiritual Police. I kind of feel a bit disappointed that it's unfinished. Yeah. Meh. But I think so far this year, I would say Otodama and this are my favourites. Are they my favourites for the buddy reads with Katie? I can't even remember what we... Oh no, My Brother's Husband, I only read the first half. If I'd read the second half, it probably would be my favourite as well, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think. But anyway, that'll be something for the end of the year. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. Take care, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye!